I just wanted to share my experience with stalking and workaway, my really horrific workaway experience. And I'm making this video and trying to make it short, although it's not really my gift to be short, to be honest. Because I really don't want this to happen to anyone else. And I know how the odds are high that it will if nobody speaks about these things, even if it's uncomfortable and make one look exposed and makes one exposed and look maybe stupid or insecure and pathetic and all those things that nobody wants to look when we talk about the most uncomfortable and disgraceful and yet common theme that exists, that is violence against women. That is the oldest kind of violence that exists. As a great man who has been in prison since 1999 has written in Gilgamesh by Öcalan, a great book that really speaks about how women are the half of the population and half of the world, really, like of the human world, that has been colonized first, that has been object of possession first. And this is why it is so important, I will keep saying in every video that I make, to talk about our stories with gender violence that is normalized in our lives to the point that we cannot come out of it for years. And it takes sometimes years to understand what's going on. In any case, especially when stalking is involved, and smear campaigning and defamation and eviction as a way of stalking, because when women are homeless and displaced and needing bags and pockets and hidden places for the credit cards, for the diaries, for the documents, for the everything, and this goes on for years, it becomes really difficult to keep your head on everything. It becomes really difficult to know where your things are. You become very vulnerable, you become forgetful. It can be used against you to invalidate a statement when you go to the police or to a lawyer to seek help to make it stop. So it is important to talk about these things also, not just for the victims, but for the outside society that normalizes these behaviors because they don't recognize them. Simply, they just don't recognize them. So the only person that does stick out is that woman that is an outsider, and when you're traveling you become like really visible as the outsider. And this is why places like workaway should always be avoided. I'm going to share my story now with workaway, but it should always be avoided by people who are victim of stalking or of organized crimes of any kind, because it becomes, you also render vulnerable people that are just people at home that need help. I mean, it's not the case here because the person didn't know about it, I think, but she is an accessory in the sense that her home is being used to attract women that or people in any case, by the stalker himself who lives here, who has been living here for 2 years, and is part of organized crimes. And this is how I ended up here when everybody asked me I was looking for a home, and in fact, it was my last thought to go on workaway. Just really um, at a point that there was someone helping me or proposing to help me with my website, with my work on refugees and the museum that I want to make, etc. And I just was given some links, but I just point out that when you are victim of stalking nowadays, the first place where you are stalked is your phone, because that phone becomes in a few days very easily. You just have to click on a link or reply on an email, and you do not know that from that moment your phone becomes like a camera, a recorder. Just go on the website aura.com. That is about parental control and what they can do with that. And that is just a method. I mean, aura.com is something I found in my phone after factory reset, after moving to the north of the world to hide away from stalking. After factory reset, I find in activity monitor at 3 in the morning, when I was asleep, obviously, someone had been on aura.com, and on aura.com you can find confirmation of what I am telling you now. That online stalking is accessory to offline stalking, and they can really control your life. They can know your passwords, they can know you in every moment of the day, because the camera will continue to record you. You it's just read what it can do. It doesn't, I don't have to. And so this is how I ended up in this position on workaway. And I had also had not a personal contact with the guy, but visual contact, in the sense that I've seen the guy before. And I'm not going to talk about this here, because this is a matter that can only be discussed with a lawyer in a court, with the police and all that kind of thing. But what I'm going to talk here about is about what happened to me, in the way that I had to come to terms with the fact that this wasn't just a random position where I ended up by chance, because it was the things that have happened had demonstrated that I wasn't, that I didn't just happen here by chance, and that this is just some very bad things that happened here to me by chance. Because there was just some very creepy man, which is also a possibility. I mean, you can read my story whatever you like, because this is what happened here. I know that what happened here is connected to my prior story with the person who was here, and the people of his group that have been stalking me. But regardless of how you want to take my story, this is something, it's just something that can happen in any household, regardless of whether there is stalking or not, because the guy could just be a regular psycho that wasn't stalking me before and just started doing it here. So it doesn't matter, like, these can happen to you even if you're not a victim of organized crime. Because if you go to a household without backup plans, especially when you are maybe already really tired and at the end of your energies, it's better that you rent a house. Do not go on workaway thinking that you will save money, because it will drain everything you have if you end up in the wrong place. And that is regardless of whether you are victim of organized crime. You can just be exhausted and end up in a house where there is a man that will do you harm, and a woman that will not believe you, and that is dangerous. So what I went through here, just to keep it tight, I came already saying that I needed a place where I could stay all year round if I couldn't return to where I was coming from. Without being specific with, and I didn't have to tell her my whole life story in any case. So what I'm saying here with the video would have been enough for any host. And she was willing to rent me this room and bathroom that I could use mostly privately, except when she had other workawayers, but she said that didn't happen often and that she lived alone. And so I thought, okay, my situation, what I need is just one person to deal with, because obviously, I mean, I'm making this video is part of my channel on unfiltered about stalking, and I have made this channel in the past few days or weeks as a result of my experience on Workaway here, as part of my experience with organized crime, as a victim of organized crime. And it is obviously a story that I cannot disentangle from my personal history with that. So, but I hope that it will protect in general people that are vulnerable, especially women that maybe are living their husband or partner that are abusive, or whatever situation of domestic violence, because I've read a lot of reviews online about that, and especially there was one about a woman that was trying to get away from her home because of domestic violence, and she also came across a very abusive workaway situation that was group abuse, which often happens in places like workaway, where there is already by default an abuse of your rights, in the sense that you will work 25 hours or maybe 20 if they are flexible, like this woman, she will let you work also 20 or 25 hours. Most people work more, like I did, because it's just so nice when someone is so nice at the beginning, that they are welcoming you. And she has a completely, in this case, a completely like divided and double register way of, at first she will in general love bomb people, and this is like feedback that I heard from third parties as well, that she will be really nice and give a lot and share a lot of time at the beginning, for a few days, and then just leave you on your own, though, without continuing. Like, instead, I think it's more balanced when a host, I have been a host for a long time, not on Workaway, but on other platforms in the past. And the best way is just to have some very clear rules, and to just have some shared time that is the same for everybody. And then you can see from there if if you want to make friends with someone. I mean, it's not forbidden, but to treat everybody the same if it's a collective situation, like to just try and yeah, to in the sense that, of course, we have all our preferences. We are human. We can make friends with people better, but to not to not make different rules for different people. That's what I mean. Like, it should be the same, because it's like a work environment, because you are giving your time in exchange. instead of money of housing. But you have to think the value of your money, the value of the money of your work. So even if you devalue your work to the level of 10 euros an hour, it's 250 euros per week. So that is to include meals and housing. So they cook for you. In theory, you shouldn't cook unless sometimes you also participate in cooking. And it's yeah, you should just try to have everything written down before you go. And if you want to rent after, to have an agreement about rent before you go. Like, I am going to rent with fixed term, without fixed term, what use I have of the kitchen, of the bathroom. After workaway, will I continue to use the kitchen? Will I be expected to buy a microwave? On that kind of rubbish, you know. So you know before you go what the terms are going to be. That is what I regretted that I would have done in any other situation, that I hadn't been so mentally tired as I was last year when I got in contact with this host. That was more than a year ago now. It was some 15 months ago. And then I got stuck in this situation, even when I did realize that the person, the gardener, who I'd never known about before coming to her house, and whom I hadn't recognized immediately, although I don't think it would have changed anything other than that perhaps I would have handled the situation better. When I did recognize him, I have just been thinking about how to speak about her or not to her about this to my friends, to my what remains of my, I mean, I wouldn't say family in my case, but my father and friends, about what was happening, and if I should, how could I approach it with the police, if I should get a lawyer, and that was the most sensible thing to do. But at the same time, as I tried to take care of all these things, he continued with online stalking, online hacking, and cyber crimes that are very hard to prosecute, but do create an immense disruption to your life, because most of your life is trying to get to repair your computer, to change your phone, to dehack your phone, to clear WhatsApp from recover WhatsApp and Telegram and Gmail, and change the passwords and change the passwords again, and find and write it down, and then trying to recover your accounts. So like a lot of the time that you should spend doing your work, really, whatever your work is, whether you're studying or you're working, whatever you're doing, everybody has work to do. If you want to be part of this society, you have to either make money or borrow money to study so that you can make money later. But in any case, you cannot escape the fact that you need money to live. So they make it very difficult. And they made it really difficult when I was here. Things sacred to me that I cannot replace, things belonging to people that died in my family were stolen from my room. My cat was stolen and used from my room when we were away. We were on camera, there were 2 witnesses, and still this police report has been deleted or moved in the landlady's name, because at the beginning the landlady helped me and believed me about the fact that one of the 2 persons involved in the stalking here has that was the easiest to approach with the to talk about with the landlady, because she was not a dear friend of her, um, but just someone who had an affair with her dear friend. And so when I tried to talk about the fact that this woman had threatened me, had come in my room, had done vandalism to my car. In fact, there was a car attempt, a car theft attempt that was in a closed road, and was assessed by a mechanic of the Renault. That is the kind of car that I have. It's a Renault. And in spite of that, the police didn't investigate it. I was threatened by the landlady to evict me, to send me away, to not let me rent. I was already renting at that point, although in an illegal cabin, because this is another thing. When I arrived here, she didn't put me, everything was strange, and not just the stalking, and this is why I do not know for sure what is the line. Like, if she knew about this before, really she doesn't know anything about it, as she made me believe, up to the point that she took me to court on the false allegations of the guy that I've been trying to get a restraining order from since October. Since October, I was already trying to find ways to get a no contact letter from a lawyer, which I got, with a restraining order request on the 10th of February, from another EU country, and to here, which is completely legal, because you can, through a solicitor that is enabled to work internationally, to do that, and to make that request to be transferred to the EU countries where you are, or UK, or any country that lawyer is enabled to work in. Your lawyer, I mean, from your home country. And so what happened was that I was impersonated online. I was impersonated with the police. A fake restraining order was sent to the police at the same time that the real one was sent, not to the police, but to the prosecutor and to the offender, because it was civil. So it wasn't something that it wasn't something to send to the police. It was something that the police was to be in copy of, as like when you send it to the prosecutor, but he didn't send it to the police in any case. And it was 2 pages. What the real restraining order was that was sent was, and they got something that was the chronology that I had written on my private computer, with all the things that I had discussed with several lawyers and arbitrators and people that I've been talking to, whilst I was making the chronology, with great difficulty, because even just without going to the past with this person and the past incidents, not in this country, I had so much incidents to discuss in the chronology, and also like things, of course, that you cannot prove in the daily light because you're not always with your phone when you are realizing that something is happening. It's not that you're always holding your phone and making videos. And it is only like in March when the police told me that I could make videos to, if I want to make a stalking report, I need to make a chronology and make videos. The next morning I went out with the video and make 2 videos in an hour of him harassing me on the 28th of March after like I had been asking for no contact from the 23rd of July. And this is to tell you like that if you end up in certain middle class or upper class, I mean, this is not upper class, obviously, but it doesn't matter. It's still very middle class. It's very provincial. It's a small village. And if that person happens to have a high status in that place or to work for the local government, you like social services were asking me, so what are you doing? When are you leaving? Like, instead of saying, we didn't help you, we didn't prosecute her, we didn't help you to have support in court because of your disabilities, which was your right, when you were accused on false police report, you were taken to court, which is under oath, which is absolutely illegal. I mean, the lawyer should be disbarred for that because it's illegal to use a false police report. And a false police report is a false police report if it's obtained by intentionally committing a crime and lying about where you found what you found or parts of it that hide the fact that you committed the crime in order to make that police report, which is what happened here. He made a police report against me, which made like criminal allegations for 3 days stand, which was enough to cause me great damage because I had a miscarriage when I was here, really, for my maternity. Like, this was the plan. This was my take care of me year. And that's been the worst year of my life. It's been the year that I am like, I'm never gonna go in a house again unless that house is mine, owned by me, and I am not absolutely sure that everybody in the neighborhood is my friend. You know, like, it's not gonna happen because of what happened to me here. Because it's been so immensely traumatizing. And the police reports that I made regarding the theft of my Asa pet that was used to threaten me and was taken away from here, and the trespass that happened at Christmas that caused me head injuries and neck injuries that were assessed in a hospital by a neurosurgeon, were deleted by the police. There is no trace of it. The cat one was moved in the landlady's name, obviously by her request, not mine, because it was my report, my cat. She was barely there for support and to drive me because of what happened to the car in the middle of all this, because my car has been heavily vandalized in September and now in April, days before the trial. I am just speechless because the amount of hate I've been through here, it's just beyond words. And in all of these during the year, I was so heavily interfered in my relationships with the neighbors and the landlady that from the beginning of friendship and trust, through online identity theft, through offline smear campaigning, false lighting, and all those techniques that slowly will damage someone's reputation in a way that it's very difficult to recover it, because they can use your diversity as such, your sexual orientation, your ethnic group, if you're from a minority group, your cultural background, your first language or accent, your disabilities, whatever difference that defines you. They can use it to really, like, first caricature you, make you look crazy, make you look strange, make you look embarrassing to be around to that person that is in power in the household, like in this case the host, or the employer at work, or um, I don't know, like, you name it. Then they can, when in any personal and professional relationship, and then you can be marginalized, you can be distorted to the extent of being taken to court on completely false allegations, not having the time to find your defense because maybe you are in a foreign country, because maybe the public services, like in this country, like there is free lawyers available, but um, you cannot easily access them. Like, there is a waiting list. There is, you have to call, and then you have to wait to be called back. There is a 4 days callback wait, and then it's quite complicated. And then you have to wait to find a lawyer that will listen to your case and will have enough time for your case. It's not just that you go to a lawyer, say, excuse me, can you do this, and I will pay you, which I got at the end to do, to try to do at least. And even so, it's not easy if you're not from that country, and even if you say, okay, I'll pay you, to find a lawyer, because you have to write in a language that is not your own, use Google Translate maybe a lot, not be able to check everything, because otherwise your head is going to explode. It's not easy to take legal action, so you shouldn't go in a place that you need to take legal action to have a voice in that house. It's not possible. This is why Workaway is a place that I do not advise anymore to anyone, unless you have a very real, like, very strict rules, and that is all written, and that the time that you are there, it's written. If there is going to be extra time, if it's going to, everything needs to be written and very clear. So in the event that your voice against the voices of the people who are in charge in that household counts zero, you do not become homeless like it's happening to me. And you do not, like, really homeless in a way that I have no, like, I have lost so much of my savings, and everything that I was going to, I have lost files that were deleted from my USB when I was away, when my cat was also taken from my room. I have lost most of my possessions that were sacred to me, that I carried from my family, in this place. And there is hardly any police report about that. There is only a police report about online identity theft on WhatsApp. And there is only the car vandalism reports and the theft of the parcel that was used to evict me, to use on criminal allegations that had already been dropped. So yeah, I mean, this is my experience here with this host. I am going to put it on my profile. I am going to, when I recover it, because I still haven't been able to recover my profile, I have written to Workaway and they have not replied, they have not helped. They have believed only her version because she is the one that is probably writing from her profile, and she's the host in any case, and she's someone that has a very good stand as a host, because even though I have heard that people were treated and discriminated badly here before, those people have not left feedbacks for some reason, because probably they were vulnerable and didn't want them they didn't want their profile to be ruined, like I wouldn't want to accept that what happened here is so serious that if my profile gets ruined for what was done to me here, Workaway just means it's a very bad place, and the people who will judge me for what this woman writes on her profile uh, after she has allowed, in any case, this smear campaign to be done to me here by two people without, having even the mental tools to understand, an intellectual tool to recognize a smear campaign. That is not acceptable. If you have a profile on Workaway, you should absolutely have the tools to recognize discrimination, inequality, unfair treatments. I was put instead of the room for 5 months in an illegal building with absolutely no privacy, see through, where everybody could come through. I had to leave the door open for my cats for them all, otherwise they couldn't go out. And the situation got out of control because they started coming into my house when I was not at home, and I could not just lock my cat out. But even though I'd have nothing precious, like financially, what was most precious to me was taken from me, and that I've carried for years. And then it was blamed on the fact that I am distracted, because after all these years of displacement, I forgot things in the bathroom, because I was only allowed to use the bathroom 3 times a week. I mean, this is just a daily. 3 times a week I was allowed to use the bathroom. And the rest of the time I didn't have a bathroom. I had this moldy, disgusting shower that I made a floor for, and painted some flowers inside just to make it decent. And yeah, she loved my flowers and my work. But then after the smear campaign started, and I came here to do these frescoes with trees in this room and in the other. This is one of the frescoes that I made, that was part of the agreement when we came here, even before I came here. And after the smear campaign, it became, that this was not what she wanted, and it was just to be all white. And the nine the reason why I come here, that was to paint, because it was also my favorite assignment, because I am a painter, I'm a decorator, I do frescoes. I have done frescoes in churches, and I have restored churches, and I I just wanted to do something inherent to my expertise as an artist, and not just someone who does research. I'm here to do hands-on work. I wanted to be a painter because I'm a painter. And after I did, after I started doing what I said that I would do when I came here, that is painting, um, yeah, like the whole agreement had changed, and I was not supposed to have done the painting at all, basically. And now I have to remove the panel, because I don't want this painting to be removed. So I have to substitute the panel. That was the agreement after she that I would substitute the panel and keep the painting myself. But this is just to say, like, how much when you go to a place with or without stalking, and there is such dynamics, like on workaway, it often happens when there is a lot of people that cannot operate equally, and so they have to crush someone, and in that process all the agreements get twisted, all the agreements get changed. The good things, even, a painting becomes a bad thing, that you invested more of your time and then you were doing just something for yourself, and it becomes like really easy that everything becomes twisted and messy, really messy, and then you have to go to court. So yeah, just think about it. If you think that workaway is going to save you some money and help you with housing, because I am going to be roofless for the first time at 46, and that's just in 9 days time, if my appeal is unsuccessful.